The Cuba Civil War is close to its fourth year as both sides are still stuck in a massive stalemate. President Clinton has met the young Prince Robert Bowser and has assured him that American aid will be sent to the Utopian Liberation Army and Navy. And it is also... The channel on the TV changes. It shows the spaghetti western, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. A man lays the remote down and sits back in the family couch. A woman and little girl walks out of the kitchen and sits down next to him. Ivan, were you watching the news again? Ivan Julius Robotnik clears his throat. What now? I may not understand English that much, but I know when the bad news is on. Ah, crap. You got me. Ivan, you need to stop with this revenge idea. I don't want you to go down that path. Ivan turns to her. Well, can you blame me? My father was an ambassador to Henry, and he was murdered by that tyrant Andrew. He deserves to die. I know, but you have to have faith that he will be punished. I promise you. The 7-year-old Maria Robotnik crawls over her cousin's lap and grabs the bowl of popcorn from Katrina. Hey, young lady! Sorry, Ivan. She sits back down on her spot, resting the bowl in her lap. A knock on the door gets the family's attention. Who could that be? The 29-year-old Ivan stands up from the couch. He turns to his right and enters a short hallway. Stopping in front of the door, he reaches for the handle. Opening the door, he looks around to see no one. He looks left and right, but nothing. His eyes veers down, spotting a young Japanese boy standing at his doorstep. Hello, sir. Are you Ivan Robotnik? Who wants to know? Wait, I've seen you somewhere before. You're Dragonborn, aren't you? Anna nods his head, confirming it. Ah, figures. A glint flashes in Honda's eyes. The young boy veers down away from the man to what is behind him. The walls of the house are made entirely out of metal, red and black in color. You see something that interests you? What is your power? Robotnik shifts his eyes to his left and right. He bends over to the side, grabbing onto a huge chunk of dirt. He lifts his left hand and bites on the glove. He pulls it out and places his bare palm on top of the dirt. Machinery clings and clangs. Metal spreads from top to bottom. Kenji watches as the pile of dirt turns into metal. He doesn't show it, but he is impressed. You turn anything into metal? Machine, rather, but yes. Yada. This is going to be harder than I thought. Robotnik looks behind him. His wife and cousin continues to watch the movie without paying attention to the door. He lets out a sigh and turns back to the boy. All right, let's make a deal. I know I'm next on the list and I'm not in the mood to fight you. So, I'm giving up my spot to you. Wait, really? Well, of course. I'll be called a coward, but who cares? I was getting tired of that brat Harrington anyway. Honda bows his head. Thank you. Yeah. Now get out of here, kid. The boy lifts himself, turns, and walks away. Ivan walks back into his house and closes the front door behind him. He walks back into the living room just in time that the town shootout is happening. He sits back down on the couch between his wife and cousin. Who was it? Smocha Jija. Wait, really? I thought you would have begun a fight with them. Ivan looks to her, forming a smile on his face. Well, I decided to take your advice. It's time that I worry about you. His wife smiles and snuggles her husband. The family continues to watch the film. Ivan and Katrina sits in the office of Dr. Tom Morgan. Their faces become very grim to what they have been just told. Maria has what? Neuroimmune deficiency syndrome and lung cancer. How did she get both of them? Well, Miss Robotnik, we don't know. That's the hard part. Is there a way to find a cure for both? Dr. Morgan shakes his head lightly. Ivan lowers his head, brushing it with his gloved hands. Olera. He takes in a deep breath as he lifts his head. How long does she have? Well, with continuous chemotherapy, I'd say 2 to 3 years. But without it, 6 months to a year. A haunting statement that shakes the Robotnik's bones. We'll take it. Anything to save Maria. The doctor nods his head. All right, we'll start next week. Weeks and weeks goes by. With each visit, Ivan and Katrina sees Maria's condition worsen. Her weight becomes less. Her eyes are nearly half shut, and her blonde hair slowly changes to a shade of gray. It is as if the young girl has already lived on Earth for 70 years. Despite it all, Maria continues to smile with each visit. At Ivan's job, LabCorp, he works day and night to find a cure for NIDS and lung cancer. But with each passing experiment, it ends in failure. Stress builds, and unknowing of Maria's condition, he continues on. Katrina, throughout August, would find her husband come home nearly driven to the brink of insanity. And many times that she had to bring the man back to reality, a reminder that he must keep his mind at ease. August 19th, 1998. The house phone rings in the living room. Ivan walks over to it and answers it. Hello?
Mr. Robotnik?
Yes. How's Maria?
Mr. Robotnik, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do for Maria. She passed away at 9:14 this morning. I'm very sorry.
His heart feels as though it had skipped a beat. His bottom lip quivers and his hand shakes. Thank you. He puts the phone back on the receiver as the front door opens and closes. Katrina walks into the living room, finding her husband seething with rage and punching his fist onto the floor.
Why? Why? You had one job, you stupid human. You took her away from us!
She rushes over to him and snuggles him. It's okay. It's okay.
They could have found a way to cure her, but they refused to do it!
They couldn't find it in time. They did their best, but it was too late. It's not their fault. Ivan's rage becomes uncontrollable. His fist tightens ever so. The grips becomes loose. His arms lowers and wraps around his wife. Tears on his and Katrina's cheeks flows. The anger turns into mournful sadness and grief. A new millennium begins with the Robotniks living their lives in relative peace. In 2001, Ivan, upon upgrading to Class A Rank 5, successfully finds a way to control his mutant ability, of which he dubbed it the Machine Maker. But a horrific discovery is made. He was congratulated by his colleagues on his breakthrough. A simple hug of kindness turns into tragedy. Riley Parker's skin turns to metal, and his painful screams turns robotic. Many researchers are horrified. From machine to cyborg in 15 seconds. But horror turns into opportunity. Robotnik begins his research on robotic organisms. Through many tests, he discovers that the robot he accidentally created can obey his every command. It gives him the idea of personalized helpers for human patients in hospitals. But some have other ideas. Two colleagues, Dr. Sam Lindsay and Richard Galloway, debates on the logistics of his work. You know what? I believe that robots can aid in finding cures for incurable diseases. We can save a lot of lives with this. I can see that. But I was thinking that robot helpers can maybe work with humans in everyday life, such as cleaning, writing, baking, etc., though limited in scale. An idea that the American Pole is very fond of, but scared of the outcome. Actually, you know what I see? I see the government finding out about this little robot helper, and they would ask Robotnik to create robots out of their own soldiers, or make enhancements to the soldiers, and turn them into androids of war. Ivan becomes perplexed and even disgusted by his words. He remembers when his grandfather, Gerald, told him stories during his time working at the Manhattan Project, helping J. Robert Oppenheimer create the first atomic bomb, and telling him that after the war, he was disgusted by the US and Soviet Union turning energy, a future benefit for man, into a means of extinction.
Are you out of your mind? The mere notion of using my techno-creating ability for war in any kind is out of the question. If that time came, I'd put a bullet through my skull or my heart.
From there, the three men argued amongst themselves, splitting years of friendship apart. May 1st, 2002. Once again, the three men argued on the use of robots. In a fit of rage after Galloway stated that he would blacklist and erase his name from history, Ivan proclaims that if given a chance, he'd command his robot helper to kill them on the spot. He is unaware that the said helper was in the room when he stated it. Its eyes turns red and it moves towards the two men. It grabs their necks and proceeds to choke them, increasing the pressure. Ivan commands the robot to cease its activity and shut down. The robot does indeed shut down, but it was too late. The two men drops to the floor with their necks squeezed in by so much pressure. When others finds out what had happened, Robotnik was expelled from LabCorp, leaving behind a documented, now tainted legacy. But once again, his wife Katrina brings him back to reality, calming him from seeking any vengeance thoughts. June 14th, 2005. King Robert Bowser sends out a warning to the people of Northern California. Within 1 month, the kingdom will expand and annex all of the northern state for its growing population. Outrage is immediate. But to the shock of everyone, Congress overruled President Bush's proposal for self-defense out of fear of another Cuba-American war. The state's capital, Sacramento, would be left untouched and the civilians would have time to evacuate all of their homes. But most refuses to leave, calling Bowser's bluff. But reality is a cruel entity that defies one's logic. The Cooptopian army marches through the streets, crossbow in hand. Humans, realizing that there is nothing they can do, are given 48 hours to evacuate their homes. But some refuses to move. A Koopa flies out of the Robotnik house. He falls onto his shell, revealing the bruises on his stomach and face. His soldiers aims their crossbows into the house.
Come on out! You don't want to do this!
Robotnik, with his robot helper, walks out on the front yard.
I told you, pests, that I'm not moving!
Katrina runs out and steps in front of her husband.
Please, Ivan, don't do this! We've already suffered enough, and we don't want our lives getting worse! But these Koopas are well armed. I don't want a war starting because of us.
His eyes veers to her.
Look, I love you, but I don't care about what their politics are. Those bastards have no reason to steal what is ours.
The ground shakes. Then it shakes again. They turn and their eyes widens. The 19-year-old King Robert Bowser walks up to the humans. Ivan turns to him, but Katrina again gets in front of him.
What is going on here?
You have some nerve showing your face to me.
Honey, please!
You should listen to your companion. Leave.
The enraged Ivan snaps his right fingers. The robot helper turns and turns his hands into fists.
Piss off!
The helper runs up, swinging its right fist at Bowser's face. It connects, but little damage is made. The turtle's eyes shifts to the machine. He grabs it by its arm and lifts it up with ease.
Wrong choice of words. And keep your toys to yourself.
He balls up his fist and punches the helper. Its mechanical part scatters by the impact, and fluid spreads. But the fluids is blood. Human blood. The king's eyes veers to Ivan. He reels his left fist back and swings. Ivan grabs his wife and lifts his left arm. Metal materializes in his hand and stops the fist. The acceleration of the fist, however, breaks the ulna and radius bones. Ivan howls in agonizing pain. Robert reels his right and swings his fist. Katrina moves her body. The fist collides with her back, shattering her spine. The force travels through her body, shattering the ribs and rupturing the heart and lungs. The force knocks away both Robotniks, landing 24 yards away from their front yard. Ivan looks to his wife, coughing up blood.
Oh no, no, not now!
He flips over and carefully places her on the grass.
Why would you do that? You know you're not a mutant!
I didn't want to see my husband in chunks.
Please, save your strength. I can fix you.
He lifts his right arm and removes his glove with its teeth.
Ivan, you need to go. No, I'm not doing that. I can't leave you.
Do you
want me as a machine?
Ivan stops from touching her shoulder.
Please. You must go. Katy, please. I don't want to lose you. Not like this.
Tears flows from their eyes. Katrina looks at her husband as she places her hand on his cheek.
Remember, you are a Robotnik. Be strong. Be brave. All I ever wish is for you to do what is right. For me.
Ivan lifts his hand, but stops from touching hers.
Live life how we lived ours.
Her hand falls from his cheek and her pupils disappears. Grief takes hold of Ivan. His mournful tears and cries are heard by others. King Bowser snorts and turns to walk away. Robotnik opens his eyes and his sobs stops. He lifts his body and turns around. His eyes gazes upon the spiked green turtle shell of Bowser as he walks away to his battle carrier King Henry. Sadness, grief, and sorrow slowly fades into something that Katrina has been desperately trying to suppress. Without her, it spreads, feeds, and controls Robotnik like a virus. Anger, contempt, revenge. Saturday, November 18th, 2008. Robotnik announces that Greenland has become an independent country from Denmark, with himself as chairman, to exercise the right to advance the world's technology for its benefit, a sentiment that the world can settle on. 1 year later, as the country becomes the Republic of Mobius, a military program, under the pretext of self-defense, is underway, with much of the volunteers joining the cause. Robotnik, in a militaristic red jacket with a pair of hanging coattails, yellow cuffs and flap, and golden patches, dark gray pants, high-rimmed black boots, and round dark sunglasses, steps into his office, and right away he spots two people sitting in chairs in front of his desk and one standing.
What is this?
His voice has become slightly more robotic. Ah, there you are. Her translator, standing beside her, repeats what she said from Mongolian to Polish.
I know who you are. I'm not interested in selling my land.
Now hold on, that's not what I'm here for. Robotnik walks up to her.
Then why are you here?
I thought you might be interested in defeating a common enemy. He turns his head to the man in a dark green suit and black fedora. He notices his axe hammer Hades sitting on his right side.
A crusader? I've never seen you before.
That is because it has been 5,000 years since I have seen this world.
Your agent?
Atlantean, yes. Believe it or not, I was banished to another world by Rhaegon I, or as this world would call him, Godzilla. The kaiju's name is something that Ivan recognizes. Anyhow, I was invited back into this dimension by the Empress herself, on one proposal that I can agree on. The three leaders sits in a small table with a glass of 200-year-old wine in front of them. So that is what happened. The reason you sought power is...
For the sake of revenge, nothing more, nothing less.
Robotnik lifts his left arm, revealing it to have been roboticized. So, all three of us have grievances with three monsters. Rhaegon III, Gamera and Dragonborn,
and King Robert Bowser. Indeed we do. All of us experienced failure at the hands of these monsters.
Both physically and mentally. And in order to achieve our own wants and needs, we must eliminate those that made us suffer our greatest defeat.
So what is your proposal?
Simple. An alliance, economic and military-wise. With my strategy, Ozawa's manpower, and your technology, we could achieve our own goals for our nations and for our people. Robotnik's smile stretches from ear to ear.
What a lovely variety. All right, I accept your proposal. An alliance it is.
He lifts the glass of wine up, with Ozawa and Zenov doing the same.
To our new partnership. From now on, our goal is clear. Eliminate the Guardians of Earth. Nazdrovi.
The three toasts. The Imperial Axis is born.